it's an occultation. Actually, I was musing on occultation, because occultations are about seeing nothing. All the other guys are actually having variable stars and double stars, about seeing stars, and occultations are about not.
We have plenty of them observations.
So I decided to turn my hand at these asteroidal occultations, and third time lucky, as it turned out. The first one was carried out. Second time, both Peter Anderson and I completely failed to find the actual event before it happened, and it was all over and done with. And the third time, it was going to be when I was on holiday. I had my Reddies over from the UK, and with the off down the Gold Coast, which is smack in the path. I'm thinking, oh, in the Gold Coast, it's smack in the path. Who can I leave behind so I can take my telescope? They all wanted to come, so I popped round to Peter's and actually took out one of the Meade LX10, because the only thing I could take on holiday without leaving the relatives behind. So I used a G-Star EX video camera. This wonderful little thing I brought to show you. This is a GPS time inserter. It's a pretty robust thing. I've added a Swift. Yeah, I want it back. And it basically intercepts a video signal. It shoves on a GPS time, an improved, accurate GPS time sequence, and tells you where you are on the planet, which is really quite helpful. Does it all for you. You don't have to do it. So I use this thing. Designed by Kiwi, hence the name, produced in America because Americans produce everything that the Chinese don't. Laptop first thing, and you wouldn't believe the mosquitoes. You would believe the mosquitoes. Went out to the site. I just drove randomly away from the Gold Coast. Ended up somewhere dark beside the side of the road with a brilliant western horizon. This thing was happening in Scorpius. In the sting of the tail, you could see it setting. I had a practice run and couldn't find it. 2 hours early, shoved the telescope towards it, roughly aligned it, and spent some time trying to find this object. And first time, slap in the centre of this thing, these two little blue stars. So I was 2 hours early for the event. With a telescope which has a drive but doesn't have guiding, so I spent the next 2 hours sat on a stool in the dark.
Where were the rallies?
Oh, they were having a nice time, a couple of glasses of wine back on the Gold Coast. So it's actually pretty dim thing as well. This is a 10th magnitude star. This is a 13 point something magnitude asteroid. And I've got something like 128 integrate. I've got a fairly big integration on the camera so you can see it. This is not a live video frame. So you can see that all of these numbers, which is what that G-Star, that QOSD thing, that's pumping these numbers out. That number is fairly easy. You can see that's actual universal time. That number is the start of the frame. That number is the end of the frame as it captures in milliseconds. Blurred because this is an amalgamation of a few things. And that's the number, the frame number. So by 10:35, I'd already taken 39,000, or the 39,000 frames have gone through this thing. That number goes up a little bit. Well, a little bit later on, 155,000 odd frames. 3/4 an hour later. God almighty. And it's moved a little bit. It's getting more exciting because now I'm thinking, well, hang on, was it going to hit that one? Where's it going to actually hit? I thought it was meant to be going for this one. It's exciting stuff, this occultation. Yeah. It missed it. It squidged high. Just squidged high. I'm getting shaky now, so anticipation. And then finally, this is where I finally thought, right, okay, at 11:38, this is going to happen in about 8 minutes time. This is the last actual integrated photo. There's right beside it. So now, let's see the video. Oh, it's just so. Now, unfortunately,
is Paris Hilton featured?
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, of course, the problem is that if you're doing 2.5 seconds per frame for integration with the video camera, that doesn't give you a very accurate timing. added in 2.5 seconds. That's not so good. We try to do a bit better. So what you have to do is you have to get as close to a live image as possible. So you turn it so you can just see the star. So you're going to just see the star, and then hopefully you're going to just not see the star. And I've left a few seconds of beforehand, just so you can see what it was like for me. So here we got it. It's coming through. That's what we're looking for. When it gets to about there, there's another star down there. Let's wait patiently. Still sat there twiddling.
You can see the star jumping around, like I was talking about.
Scintillating.
Yeah. Particularly one underneath at the time.
Yeah, anticipation. Gone. Count to 6. Starting back now.
It's a long 6.
It's a long 6 on you.
Yeah.
That's it. That's you're waiting for nothing. That's it. Now it's there, and now it's not. So that little, and it's great. I mean, it's really actually quite good to watch these things. No, it's so good. I'm not going to show the whole thing again.
I thought photometry was bad.
I think Johnson showed enough dedication to.
There we go. I got it down. It's ready to go off. No. Bang. Count to 6. We count to 6. I think this is going a little bit slower, just to add to the fun.
How sensitive are the geolocation?
Very sensitive, and I'll show you now.
So you have to do exactly the right foot.
I'll show you now what happens with that. You then go home. Now, as you do the max bit, you sit home and you have to do all of the reducing of it. You have to work out what on earth just go on in reality. So a video actually takes you see occasionally these called interlacers. Interlacers actually take 2 shots, 2 frames. 2 fields that they make to make 1 frame. So with software you can peel them apart. So that's what I've done. This is a peeled apart frame. And here you can see the star. And that's when that field started, and that's when that field ended. Then you can just see a smidge of it, and that's fine, because 50% is good for an occultation. That's because of various light effects. So that's in that field is when the occultation happened. So it happened 11:48, 42 seconds, point, middle of those two, 9:4. So that's now accurate because PAL takes at 25 frames a second. It's accurate to a 50th of a second because it's actually taking 2 fields for every frame. So that's the accuracy of that. Similarly, coming back on again, this one's a bit clearer. It's off. It's back. 2 different frames. So there's the timing in there. That's the whole pile of data that you actually read off most of this off the camera, off the actual video, because you capture the stuff that comes off that little device, which is complicated. Push it through, and you shove it off. It goes off. Well, it went to our occultation director, and it went off to the Occultation Society in New Zealand, and they start to work out the results. Now, this is a circle of the known diameter of that particular asteroid, and this is my chord, as they call them in the trade, the chord. So that's the start. So that's the start. That's the end. That's where they predicted the center of the asteroid to be. Okay, but it wasn't there. Obviously, I missed the center. So with my one observation, I knew that the asteroid was either here or here, because as it turns out, you really, to make it useful, you need to have 2 observations. You can't just have 1 observation. Luckily for me, by complete chance, John Broughton, only about 14 kilometers away from me, made another observation using a different technique. He uses a drift scanning method. So he gets a CCD image and it drifts, and he measures the gap as it goes down. And he took that chord. So now we know exactly where that asteroid is in the sky.
Or was.
Oh, yeah. Was at the time. That's where they thought it was. It wasn't. It was obviously, so it was away. So what? Well, John and I, between us, managed to move an asteroid 40 kilometres, because that's how far out it was. I was pushed away.
Pretty high chance of hitting Earth.
Yeah. There we go. That's an asteroidal adventure.
Are you addicted to them now, John?
Oh, they're great. They're very sad, but they're really good. And they don't happen very often, which means you don't have to do it every night. Every month or two is when they happen.
Thanks, Jonathan. That was very interesting.